You know, there's an expression that says that usually you hear and it says, I hate to say I told you so. But in this case, I don't hate to say I told you so because I told you so. A few months ago, I put the end of Xbox consoles and people flipped their minds in the comments. There's more. Xbox isn't abandoning the console wars. They're not going to abandon Xbox players or Xbox traditional consoles. Well, more and more evidence has piled on. Microsoft released the "This is an Xbox" ad that shows that your phone is an Xbox, your PC is an Xbox, your smart TV is an Xbox. Anything that can connect to Xbox Game Pass and Microsoft Gaming Cloud is an Xbox. So everything is an Xbox, which means there are no more traditional Xbox consoles to be had. Everything is just a gateway to Game Pass. So, is Microsoft becoming an exclusive third party publisher? They're in a gray area, yes and no. Yes and no, meaning, yeah, you're going to get Xbox games on PlayStation 5 now. You're going to get Xbox games on Nintendo. You're getting Xbox games on PC. No more gaming exclusives for Xbox consoles. You can get those games across the board for everything. And hell, you don't even need an Xbox console because if you have Game Pass, you get it day one on Game Pass. And with all of the acquisitions that Microsoft made over the last couple of years, they are now the biggest publisher of video games on the planet. But all of that brings me to why I told you so. So there was an Xbox era podcast, and I'm not sure if many of you caught this out there because I think there was a whole lot of copium going on in the Xbox community, and they kind of snuck this out under the radar and not, we've seen a couple people talking about it here and there, but there's some really interesting quotes that came from that Xbox podcast, and it had none other than Phil Spencer, the CEO of what used to be Xbox Studios, is now just Microsoft Game Studios, so Microsoft Gaming. CEO Phil Spencer is no longer trying to get PlayStation or Nintendo fans to switch console. The article here from Kotaku, and also you could just go listen to the podcast. It's available for you to hear it straight from the horse's mouth. And we've got Phil Spencer here, and the title in the article says Xbox CEO confirms what we knew. The console wars are over. And it begins, it says, in case you didn't notice the console wars, the decades-long battle between multiple companies and their plastic game boxes ended a few years ago. And while Sony continues to fight on with PlayStation despite this war being over, Xbox CEO Phil Spencer recently confirmed that, yeah, it's all over, and the company is no longer trying to steal users away with exclusives. Over the weekend, Spencer sat down for a lengthy interview with Xbox Era. This is last weekend. We are recording this on the 23rd. And it says, over the weekend, Spencer sat down for a lengthy interview with Xbox Era, in which he discussed his favorite games, talked about what various Xbox studios are working on, and dished out on the industry at large. And he was also honest about Xbox no longer being a part of any console war, as it shifts to selling Xbox games on other consoles like PlayStation. And here comes the quote, and it says, I would love to make all of the money for all of the games that we ship, right? Like, obviously, we make more on our own platform, said Spencer. It's one of the reasons that investing in our own platform is important. But there are people, whether it's their libraries on a PlayStation or Nintendo, whether it's that they like their controller better or they just like the games that are there. I'm not trying to move them all over to Xbox anymore, added Spencer. Listen to that again. The only reason that they are going to continue to manufacture some type of Xbox in the future is because they don't have to pay a 30% publishing cut to to Nintendo or to Sony or to Steam or whatever other platform they decide to publish those games on. It's cheaper for them to do it on Game Pass because hey, it's just Game Pass, it's theirs, and of course, if they have their own box, they can just publish the game on that device, and they don't have to cut anybody a publisher's portion. However, the incentive of owning an Xbox as a user. Now, I get why they would make a box, but as a user, as a person that purchases video game consoles, the only reason now to own an Xbox would be if for some reason the next version of the Xbox is incredibly cheaper than, say, a Switch 2 or a PS6. If it's incredibly cheaper, then yeah, I would see it as a viable option. But it no longer is a viable option if you're looking to play Microsoft exclusive games on this system that you can't get on anything else. Because guess what? According to Phil Spencer, he is officially done with trying to get people to come over to the Xbox. It's done. It's over. He's going to publish games on the system because it's cheaper for the company. Great. Exclusives are going to be gone. And now PlayStation, Nintendo, PC, everybody gets Xbox games. If you want to pay for them, great. Go pay for them on PlayStation. Go pay for them on Nintendo or on Steam. But hey, if you want it day one on Game Pass, we got it on Game Pass. And if you just happen to have our box, then you'll get our box too. But now owning an Xbox, you have zero exclusives, zero, because all of Microsoft's games are going to eventually make their way over to the other platforms. Period. Point blank. And the article continues. This is the last quote about not trying to bring everyone over to Xbox anymore is a very telling one. And for sure, Xbox hasn't really been competing with Sony or Nintendo for a few years now. That kind of stops when you start selling your games on their platforms. But this is confirmation from Spencer that Xbox was once fighting in the console wars and that it no longer is part of that battle, as the entire point of the console wars was to sell more boxes and steal away other players with exclusives. Continues. Elsewhere in the interview, Spencer further explained that Asia is one of Xbox's fastest growing regions. And by Asia, we're talking about China, right? Where consoles have always had to have like a shady way of being sold out there, because for years, video game consoles were straight up banned in the country. So it continues here and it says, he further explains that Asia is one of Xbox's fastest growing regions, and it's thanks in large part to cloud gaming via Game Pass and PC. And according to Spencer, the users driving this are players who were never going to buy an Xbox. So what have I been saying? What's the future for Microsoft? Game Pass. We were never going to catch that person with our consoles, said Spencer. So let's find them in a way that works, and it's better for Indiana Jones. It's better for Xbox. If it wasn't obvious before, this is the ultimate confirmation that the console wars have indeed ended. Nintendo plays by their own rules, and they are in first place. Sony was the only one that was literally still gung-ho about fighting the good fight, and you know, they won the generation with the PS1, PS2, and then they lost in the PS3 to the Wii, and they lost in the PS5 generation to the Switch, and now they're out there fighting ghosts. Who is Sony fighting? You know why? This is why you should go watch the video that I posted, why Sony has been acting so arrogant, because it's just them and Nintendo in the console space. It's just them two, and they are fighting completely different battles. Which is why, for all you Sony ponies out there, don't celebrate too quickly. When everybody is going in different directions, Sony doesn't have to try as hard. That means you're going to get a lot less Sony first party games. And we've been seeing that in 2024, and we've seen that in 2025. Intergalactic, that doesn't have a release date. That probably is going to come out in 2026. So, yay. Ghost of Yote, it has a tentative 2025 release date anytime in 2025. And then what else? What else? What else? So, we're going to get a PlayStation Play Pass at some point. Nintendo will be the last one kicking and screaming, making hardware the traditional way until eventually even they are gone. And hell, they're going a digital path that I'm going to make a little bold prediction here before I sign off, that Nintendo has actually been pioneering everybody going digital. For example, with Metroid Prime, the remaster, they released it digitally, and then if you wanted a physical copy, you had to wait, what, like 2 or 3 months later? So, hell, here's the digital version, and then everybody got it, and then we don't have to ship as many. So even they are moving away from physical copies and physical media. Even they are looking to an all-digital future, and don't be shocked. Don't be shocked if they patent some weird Nintendo way of doing a Nintendo Online Pass. Who knows? But gonna end the video with back to what we know 100%. The Sony stuff is speculation, of course. We can see the writing on the walls already. The Nintendo stuff is way in the future. But the Xbox stuff is right now. Right this second. No more Xbox consoles in the traditional way. We're probably going to get one more generation because Microsoft sees the Xbox consoles as a gateway to Game Pass, just to get you into the ecosystem. They are looking at PlayStation and Nintendo as just another way if we can't get them to buy it on our consoles, which we haven't been able to, and we can't get them to sign up for Game Pass for whatever reason, we might as well stick them with a $60 or a $70 version over on those systems, and, you know, we'll take a 30% hit on those, but hey, that's better than not having those games sold at all. So they're a gray area. Are they first party? Yeah, they still are, because they're still making first party games for their platform. So sure, they're still first party. But are they third party? Yeah, they are. They are third party as well. And you know, as a person who's owned multiple consoles and now primarily games on my PC and Switch, there's no reason for me to ever own an Xbox at this point. Zero reasons. Zero. If I do want to play an Xbox game that badly, I can either buy the Steam version, or I can just subscribe to Game Pass for a month and beat the game, and then I'm good. I feel good, and I still have the entire library to play with throughout that month. So I think I still don't get me wrong, Game Pass is still the best deal in gaming today. But for all you Xbox out there, it 100% is the future for Microsoft. Anyway, let me know what you guys think in the comments below. What do you think about Phil Spencer finally admitting that it's over, that he's no longer going to try to take people away from PlayStation and Nintendo, and that there are no more exclusives? Let me know, and please, as always, leave a like and comment on the video. It really helps a lot. Doesn't cost you anything. If you want to subscribe, you made it this far and I've earned your subscription, please do so as well. Really appreciate it. I'd like to thank you guys for joining me here on Starflag Media Gaming, and I'll catch you guys in the next video.